Last Friday, during the annual March for Life, it was once again encouraging to see tens of thousands of young Americans travel to the National Mall to show their support for the most important human rights issue of our time, the right to life. This year, we celebrate the 50th year that the March of Life has taken place, marking a significant, multi-generational milestone for this celebration of the sanctity of life. The fact that this event is now in its 50th year is a testament to the truth and justice of our mission. I thank and congratulate everyone who kept this movement alive for the past 5 decades. And I especially want to thank all the brave pro-life Americans who made their voices heard as part of the March for Life. For half a century now, Americans have brought their voices to Washington to halt the mass elective abortion of perhaps 1 million unborn American lives every year in our nation. Abortion is not a political issue to me. It's a human rights issue. And this is not a political battle we fight, but rather the tip of the spear in a spiritual battle for the heart and soul of this nation. This year's momentous March for Life truly was a celebration as our nation's Supreme Court has finally freed us from the undemocratic pro-abortion decision forced on the American people in 1973. My prayer is that our God will heal the emotional and physical wounds that were ripped open across this nation by this ruling. As we celebrate this victory for life, all of us should pause and thank God for giving us a majority of Supreme Court justices who had the courage to overturn Roe v. Wade. This Supreme Court, by an overwhelming 6-3 ruling, defied the left's mob-style intimidation tactics, and in too many extreme cases, they overcame even the vile threats on their lives, as well as on their families' safety and privacy. The court's majority stuck to constitutional principles and cast aside the pro-abortion status quo, even in the face of threats by the current Senate majority party and its current majority leader. The way our justices stood up to the opposition represents true leadership and the very best of America. And let us commend our Republican Senate leader and the senators who fought for the lives of the unborn, who, when we had the control of the White House and the Senate, had the courage, the fortitude, the willpower, and the know-how to shepherd 3 principal justices through the confirmation process and ascend to the highest court in the land. This tremendous, life-giving decision also would not have happened without Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Finch and her team who championed their state's pro-life law. They forever etched their place in history. The rights and lives of millions of American human beings are now protected as a result of the Dobbs decision. As an obstetrician, I had the honor and privilege to deliver over 5,000 babies. And I want all those who stood tall in the March for Life last Friday to know that just like I fought for those babies in the living room, I'm going to continue the fight beside you to protect the sanctity of life and to show our nation that Congress values these precious lives as well. At the federal level, we of course have much more work to do on this issue. We must continue to ensure taxpayer dollars do not fund abortions, so millions of Americans are not forced to violate our own beliefs. We must combat this administration's effort to remove conscious protections for medical professionals, doctors, nurses, ultrasound techs, and so many others who object to participating in abortion. And perhaps most urgently, we must re-implement safety restrictions on the abortion pill. This unprecedented mass distribution of this pill by mail and over-the-counter that this administration is pushing will lead to thousands of women using it incorrectly, causing medical emergencies, possibly deaths, and fetal malformations. And if you don't believe this can happen, I just encourage you to spend some time in our emergency rooms, where I and many other doctors treat numerous women suffering complications from the abortion pill. Most of these patients are completely unaware of the potential side effects. Many are misdiagnosed or perhaps victims of just a horrible guess of the gestational age of the unborn baby. But I think it's also important that we as a party and Congress also work to further support legislation to provide resources to moms and babies in need. This help would include more access to long-term nutritional, educational, economic, and social support, as well as health care. We must find more compassionate and effective ways to better encourage pregnant women who are contemplating abortion to choose life instead. We need to open the doors to pregnant crisis centers for assistance throughout and, very importantly, after the pregnancy. Despite violent attacks, acts of vandalism, and harmful misinformation directed at these centers, they continue to provide critically needed services to women all across this country. I'm also committed to dispelling the less malicious lies about ectopic pregnancies in the aftermath of the Dobbs decision. As someone who understands the science and practice obstetrics for over 25 years, and frankly treated hundreds of women with ectopic pregnancies, I want to state that I agree with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. We always have and always will support the treatment of women suffering from the always life-threatening condition of an ectopic pregnancy. The radical activists who widely claim ectopic pregnancies will be left untreated because of this court decision are simply misinformed and dangerously practice fear-mongering tactics. For a physician to not treat ectopic pregnancies would be, number one, unethical, as well as, number two, below the standard of care for every community in America. Let me close by saying once again, thanks to all of you, the tens of thousands of Americans who participated in the 50th March for Life, for courageously and tirelessly fighting for life. Each and every one of you are my encouragement. You give me the strength and hope to wake up every day and join my fellow pro-life senators and millions of pro-life Americans to fight to protect the sanctity of life. You being here, praying together, marching side by side, arm to arm, you strengthen my resolve, and you can count on me to tirelessly fight to defend and secure the right to life for all human beings. I yield the floor.